Did you click? Okay, you have already started
Yeah.
the recording. Okay, so
Yeah.
okay, I have prepared a presentation. Let's test your account. But let's test later. Okay, I will share the recording. You see my screen, no?
Yeah, I saw. Yeah.
Okay. So I've prepared a small introduction based on what we were talking yesterday about what I understood about what you know or what you cannot know. So if you know something or it is not clear, as I mentioned yesterday, this is not an assessment, it is just onboarding. So please ask whatever you don't understand.
Okay.
So we have a clear understanding with it. So let's see what is about project budgeting and forecasting, okay? Right. So let's start. As I briefly told you, so we are focusing these three verticals. There is another vertical which is called like higher education, but it's three, okay, because it's like a public sector. But today we are basically in these three verticals: professional services, public sector, public services, public sector, basically, municipalities and so on, or local governments and so on, and non-for-profit. But here we are going to talk about professional service organizations. So a professional service organization, but by the way, your company, it is a professional service organization. It is a company that is quite focused in people and projects. Okay, so this is your company. This IT consultancies, you can understand, management consultancies, architecture. For example, when you are doing building, when you are doing the building itself, this is not a PSO. Because then you have to plan machines, you have to plan material and so on, a lot of things. Okay, so this is not PSO. But however, all the engineering that you are doing or the architecture you have to do to build a house or maybe a street or something like this, the company who are doing this engineering, it is a PSO, okay, because it is an engineer or an architect that is doing a work. You don't need to plan too much material or whatever. The material is like what we have today, which is software or something like this, okay? Marketing, of course, it is quite obvious. You have to create a marketing campaign or whatever. Everything is like people and project, okay? Accountancy, so everyone doing auditing and so on. You have auditors and then projects. What are the customers that you are auditing and so on? Nothing too much. The legal thing is the same. So how a company who is doing, for example, it helps other companies to be compliant with the tax. For example, the taxes in Poland. I don't know what are the taxes. Then there is a company that helps you to say, hey, if you follow this, you will not have. And then the software company, as I mentioned, that is like your company, okay? That is having professionals, and these professionals work on projects, and then this is the typical PSO, okay? Remember, PSO stands for Professional Service Organization. Then everything else is out. So I don't know. If you go to a manufacturing company and so on, they are more in the product-centric companies. We don't care there. Okay, so well, we don't care. It is not our vertical, so we don't put focus here. So basically, PSO is about teams, projects, and customers. Okay, this is the main concept they have. Not too much. You will have some kind of documentation, I don't know, some tools and so on, but the main asset of your company is the team, the people, and then you will do project and customer. So here are a couple of examples of our two customers, which are quite important. So they are doing architecture and engineering, so they are building bridges and so on. So you can see they are, so this kind of customer, they are doing several things. So you can build a very funny things like here, this night bridge, or you can do, for example, this company that are doing acoustic surrounding. I don't know what is the right name in English. So you go, for example, to a building or to a company, make an analysis, and then you provide the surrounding architecture or engineering, okay, for this kind of company. So these kind of companies or it can be IT consultancies, it can be quite a lot of things. So another
Okay.
example of our customer is FTI Consulting. This is a financial, legal, operational, and so on company. So this is just doing legal and financial consulting, which is, I have a version which is expert in this, and then this guy will help you to be, I don't know, your taxes will be paid properly, for example. Okay.
Okay.
The main driver for these customers, they are basically their main concern. It is about win the right business. This is quite critical for them because maybe you have a strategy in your company. I don't know. Strategy can be, hey, I want to grow in this market, for example, and then this is what you want to win. Okay. Then when you go, you will go with your professional, also with your sellers, your salespeople. They will offer this to customer, but then you have to ensure you have to put the right functionality that you are winning this project, the project that you want to focus. Okay. This is an area I am not going to enter because it is out of our project, it's out of our discussion, so it will be. The next one is optimize utilization. The utilization is this. It is very easy. Is this? Is the number of billable hours divided by the number of working hours. So you can understand your utilization. So how many hours you are working for Uniform, it is the amount of hours that Uniform will pay to your company. No? So maximizing the utilization is critical for the PSO organizations. Okay? We're going to talk a little bit about this, but not too much. But then we're going to talk about execute profitable projects. So if you have projects and so on, it is quite obvious that if you execute profitable project, it is quite critical for this kind of companies. Okay? And this is where we are going to focus and where we're going to put. And finally, we have to bid with precision. So regarding, well, considering the contract you have signed, you have to build with the contract. And then when you have all the data from a lot of people, what is the data you can build, what is the data that you cannot build, what is inside the contract, what is outside, it is what you want to build. Okay, so if you don't have this precision, then you will have a lot of back and forward. When you send the PDF, hey, this is not what you signed, then you return, then this is not good because this is not creating very good reputation for your company. Okay, because of course, the customer will review the invoice when you send. It is, they will not accept that they will pay whatever you want. Okay, they will say, hey, let's see if this is according to what we signed, and if you have provided what you signed. Okay, and then they will review, and then you don't want to have this back and forth. So the billing is another important piece. The main life cycle, as I was mentioning, is something like this. No? So you have what is called opportunity, which is how you win new projects. Everything is in opportunity. Instead, at this moment, you will call opportunity, and once you sign the contract, this is moving to a project. This is like the context. Okay. In Uniform, we don't have opportunity management. It is difficult for us because basically opportunity, everything relationship with customer, it is done in CRM. I don't know if you have here this concept, CRM. It is customer relationship management, which is big product that is for staying the relationship with customer, like Salesforce. Probably Salesforce you have here about. Okay, Salesforce is a tool that it will help a lot to make the customer relations. Exactly. Another thing we don't have here is the project planning tool. Okay, so you have a project. What are the tasks I am going to split this project into, and how I am going to start the planning? We don't have this. Okay. Then you will create who is going to work in this project. Okay.
Okay.
We have this piece. Then we have budgeting and forecasting. We have it, but now we are going to do the automation project and forecasting project. Okay. Once the project is already, you have done all the administration about winning the project, planning the project. You go to the execution. In the execution, the people start working, and then they have to enter the time.
Excuse
and
me,
enter
can
the
I have
expenses.
one question?
Yes.
Because I don't quite good understand why when we use the other CRM like Salesforce, as you mentioned, or another one tool, whatever, why it's our gaps? I know it's
Gap
a
is
lot.
we don't have
Yeah.
it. We don't.
We
ERP
don't have it. Okay.
doesn't
Okay.
have it. Unit4
Okay.
don't have it. It
Okay.
means we have to create an integration. So you are
Okay.
inside. So for example, I will explain a little bit later. The sales people will work in CRM,
Mhm.
and the project manager will work in ERP,
Mhm.
and then we will
Okay.
integrate somehow. Okay.
Okay. Now I
This
understand.
is what
Okay.
I mean by gap.
Mhm. Okay. Okay.
Of course, as you have the plan, you will have your first plan. Hey, I am planning to win with this project an amount of money. Okay.
Mhm.
Then, and of course, I'm going to plan. Sorry, when you are doing the budgeting, you are saying, okay, this project will cost an amount. I have signed the contract with this, so you know what is the project margin. And this is what we are going to talk more about the project budgeting and so on. Okay. Then people start entering timesheet and entering other expenses. Whenever you enter your timesheet in your company, this is a cost. It is, okay, I have worked in this project, and you can calculate, the company knows how much you get per month. The company knows how much you get as extra cost. When I say extra cost, it is about, I don't know, office. I don't know if you go to the office or you have remote, but all the extra cost that the company has because you are working in the company. Okay? So this information, and then you can compare based on the plan that you have. You can compare what is going on with your time. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Then from this timesheet and so on, you can invoice to the customers, and you can compare what is your invoicing compared with your planning and so on. You can do revenue recognition. I am not going to enter into revenue recognition today because it is more complex, or project accounting, so we can leave it like that for later. Okay, but this is more or less the project life cycle. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Then let's focus a little bit more about the persona. So the typical persona. You have Brenda. We call it here the bid manager. Maybe in other places you will understand this lady better with account manager. She's the sales manager, for example, is the salesperson basically. Okay, she's responsible to win the right projects. Okay, so not the project, not to win project, but the right projects. Okay, so if you don't win the right projects, it will be abroad. As I mentioned before, Brenda usually works in CRM. So in our case, I don't want to say 100%, but most of them are using Salesforce. Then on the other side, we have Peter, who is the project manager. There is no project plan tool, but he's the project manager. So he's in charge of the project delivery. He's in charge of the project resourcing to say, hey, I have resources, I can execute my project, I can evaluate what are the project risks, and so on. So I am responsible to provide the right margin to this project. Okay. And finally, we have Patty, who is the planning coordinator. He's responsible of people, and she already have the tools in ERPX to work. Okay, to find the people to work in a task, to see who is available, who is not, and so on. To play with some skills and so on. Okay. But let's start how this is moving forward. So let's say that Patty has a project close to B1. Then you will ask Peter to start creating a project plan. Project plan is very easy conceptually. Okay. Okay, I have this. You split this into a small task, something that is more manageable and that you can start planning or thinking. So then let's say that for this project, you will need a business analyst who will do the requirement gathering, and you are estimating that this, I don't know, maybe usually this kind of company are doing quite repetitive work. So imagine the acoustic work I have mentioned before. Okay, maybe you have some complexity from one company to another, but at the end you are doing basically the same. So you have to do the assessment. The assessment, okay, this guy has, I don't know, 400 square meter. So the assessment will take 30 hours. Okay, because you know from experience and so on. So then you have it. You know when this has to happen because maybe you have alignment with the customer. Then you know that, well, I am here focusing not in the acoustic example, but in a typical software example. No? When you will have a business analyst, then you will have a senior developer. In this case, I will need React. Everything is UI. Then you know more or less that this will have to happen during these weeks, and then you have the effort. And finally, I have testing task that will be done by a tester junior, and it will be done in mobile. Okay.
Okay, but it looks like a waterfall project, not
yes,
like in a, okay.
This is just an example.
Okay.
This is just one example, not
okay.
like how this is done today, but it is just an example to understand what is happening. Okay? So you can put all these people to work together, and then you will have, but then you will split this into smaller pieces, and these smaller pieces you will need people. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So you can put all the people to work together, whatever, and then you will have the trainee guy who will have to do 20 hours and so on. Then when you have this, then the coordinator, it can be the person who is providing the people here, okay? And when you provide the people, you can end up with something like this. Of course, it is not like a waterfall between Brenda, Peter, and Patty. It is a permanent collaboration, no?
Yeah.
Because, for example, you can provide Wendy, but if you say, hey, please provide someone who is more with less cost. For example, imagine that this is senior. Hey, I cannot have it. What happened? I have everyone else is blocked. What happened if we deliver the project instead of in the week 48 in the week 49? It is a cooperation between these three people. Of course, during this exercise, you are doing a project risk analysis already, okay? Because you are looking, hey, the people I have is the right one. Hey, no, I don't have people with React. All of the teams, or for example, 2 of my developers don't have React skills. So this is a risk. And then if you are going to take this risk or not, it is up to the company, of course. We'll have to discuss what happens, what is not happening, and so on, but it will happen something like this, okay? From here, let me put this here, then you can do something. Let's think now about budgeting. Let's say that you have very simple, just at the beginning, when you don't have resources. I can create a small budget that can help bidding when you are doing the bidding, no? So you have this task, and then you can put like a small, I don't know, a general cost for a senior guy or a junior guy, and then you can end up with this cost. So this guy, for example, it is 4,000. The 5 guys is 20,000. This guy will be 4,000, 2,000. So this is my total cost. It means that then Brenda, the guy doing the signing the contract, can say, hey, 30,000. So it means that my contract has to be higher to 30,000 euros. Okay. And this is what I was mentioning that about winning the right project. Quite typically, the PSO companies, they have like a margin when they are signing contracts. And this is the rule they follow. So for example, they say, no, I want to bid double. So if my cost is 30,000, I will go for 60,000 because this is my rule. You are working there, okay? And then this is because I say, hey, you have to follow to win the right rule, the right projects. On one side, it is what is our strategic market, and on the other side, you have to follow the rule of the company. If you are deviating, then you have to analyze, hey, this is an special customer, we want to win this project, whatever, and then maybe the company can accept that you go this way, this project which is out of the rule. Okay. So this person will escalate and then it will go. If not, it is not like the customer will say, no, I don't want you to sign this contract. Maybe there are several competitors. You can think, for example, if you have a company who is looking for a new software provider, maybe they are looking for three. Okay, you are here, and this person has to read what is the estimation, what is not, who is cheaper, who is expensive, more expensive. Okay, so you can compete in the market with the strategy you decide to compete. Okay, but this number, it is quite important for Brenda to make the final contract. So you cannot sign whatever you want, because if you sign below, you are going to lose money. You cannot accept this, because imagine you have imagine a company. Hey, I want to close this deal, for example, with Google. If we start having some businesses with Google, can increase the reputation of my company, and then your manager, well, it will not be this lady, it will be someone higher in the organization, and say, don't worry, we have to go with Google because we want to close this contract. Okay? But you know what is happening there. Let's go a little bit deeper with this budgeting and costing. Okay, so if you go with the resource, then you will get what happens. Okay, this is something very initial. But if you know now the people, you know how much everyone will cost, then you have what is called the baseline budget. So this is my resource plan, and this is my baseline budget. Okay, when I have the people and so on, this is how is my project, and then I can understand what is my project, but my project margin, because I know how much we're going to sign. So I'm going to sign the contract with this, and then you will get the project margin. Of course, as I mentioned, this is very simple example. Waterfall, just for example. Okay, if you go to a more complicated example, I don't know what is the estimation, what is the thing, you will have this, and then it will be a little bit more complex, but the concept is exactly the same. Okay, now people, you have a cost and you have a baseline. When you have the baseline, this is what you have, and then you have an initial baseline margin. Okay, and then as the project is moving, let me say a little bit about the baseline plan. Basically, we have the resource plan, and then based on the resource plan, we have the baseline budget. The customer usually don't use the baseline budget, they use the revised budget. What is the difference between this baseline and revised? So baseline is when you sign the contract, revised budget is when you sign a new contract. Okay, and therefore everyone is working with the revised budget. So the baseline is something you have there, and then the revised is, okay, I have signed a new contract, and this is my, so you will compare with them. Then here we have two concepts: estimation to complete, easy. What is the cost I will have when I complete my project? My case, 31,500 euros. And the project margin, it is easy. Contract amount minus estimation to complete. So nothing really complex in this topic, no? As I mentioned here, and this is because we are talking here about professional service organization, I am not talking here about, no, this guy has to manage a machine which is quite expensive, and I have to plan if the machine is available or not. I am just thinking about people. For example, doing an IT project, a software project, a software implementation, something like this. It is just people and hours. Okay.
Okay, I have another question.
Yes.
How we manage about the risk? Because okay, we have some effort, like I know in BA in 30 hours, but when we go deeper and deeper into this, I don't know, this solution, this feature, this project, maybe we recognize to spend another, I don't know, 10 or 20 hours more than this 30 hours. So we need to manage some risk.
Yes, I will tell you what is the typical. Sorry, I will tell you if I can change the table here.
Okay.
So let me add something below. Okay.
Mhm.
As you can see, I don't have the PowerPoint very to the total format. Okay.
Okay.
So you have analyzed
Mhm.
what are your risks, as I mentioned before.
Mhm.
You have your people. You know if the people will be able, if this is a standard project or not. If the people are well skilled to achieve this, for example, everything, and then you know what is going on, and then you can plan this. Okay, so you can plan like this. So you are putting this like a small risk.
Okay.
That is just a cost. Or you will put this based on the project, on your understanding, the project that you are running, and so on. But it will be something like this.
Okay, good.
Good. So then my next slide don't have this risk, but it is something I wanted to talk about, okay, about the risk management and so on. So the baseline is like this. Then let's do the exercise of project forecasting. The project forecasting, let's say we are in the week after week 45. We are after here. And let's see what happens. So as I mentioned, we are checking the baseline or the revise, because it is usually the people will use the revise because it has you have changed the revise, it is like it is. Okay, so it is what you will use. Then you have actuals. In the content, it is called actual, which is basically the timesheet. You know what happens, and then this is your actuals. Here you have a small deviation, and you have another deviation. Okay. Sorry, here there is no deviation, but you can have deviation or not. Let's say that you only have deviations here. It means that my cost is starting to grow. So my cost is not what I was expecting later, but it is the other. And then let's say that based on this delay and so on, what I have learned from this stage is that even my plan to complete isn't growing. So now my estimation to complete is higher than before, so I can compare with my baseline. It is 5,000 where I have 4,000, and then this is growing until 23,000.5, while here it is 20. Okay, so I am getting more. So I'm getting more cost, so my cost is increasing. That's not very good. And then you have here something that will happen in the future that has growth, because maybe I have learned something here. Okay. Then when you do the numbers, let's review a little bit the new concepts. So you will have the forecasting. Usually, forecasting will happen that at least will happen once per month. So you do it once per month, and then you have it. At the end, the forecasting is something that will be followed up by stakeholders. When I say a stakeholder, can be Brenda, can be the manager of whoever, can be GLT, or can be whoever. Okay, they want to know what is expected the company to win in the next month, for example, okay? Or in the next 3 months. And we have similar concepts, no? So they are quite easy. Estimation to complete, it is easy. This case is this. Estimation at completion, which is actuals, what happens in the past, plus estimation to complete. Sorry, I mistook. Actual plus this. And then you have the new project margin, which is now the contract amount less estimation to complete. And then you can compare the initial project margin versus the project margin that you have today. Okay. This is what is the project about. Okay. So I think that conceptually is very easy. There is no it is very easy. There are no complex things. Okay. It is more or less, it is quite easy. As I mentioned, we are focusing in PSO. So we are planning quite, the things that you can plan is quite small. So you are planning people, you are planning projects, you are planning. We will talk a little bit later about other elements, no? Because in addition to this, you can have travel costs. Hey, I have to visit my customer, how you will add it, and so on. It will be something like this, no? The same as I put here risk. Why I cannot close this? Can put here, for example, travel, no? Travel, or you can add something like other. Let's call it other, okay? Which is more obvious. Okay? Can be travel, can be
anything. Yeah,
you have to buy a laptop, something that you have there. Okay, this is the main content that we have. And then let's talk at least a little bit, and then you will understand a little bit more what is what we have to create in the system. Okay. Now we are going to start thinking about the system. Let's say we do or how to explain this. So let's see the difference between the project planning structure and the project accounting structure. The project planning, it is this, okay? The task. When you split this into a smaller task, that is operational thing, because this is the project manager, okay? But then, as project manager, you have to take into account also the financial. Because at the end, the project has to be followed up by financial. How I am going to follow the financial data? How my company wants to understand the financial information and so on. The project planning is easy. You can have several, I don't know how you are used to work, but it can have several levels. I don't know, depending on the project, it can be very complex. In our case, or at least in Unit 4, we are thinking about four levels or less, but it is something like this, okay? In financial side, what you do, it is that you will represent project, work order, and activity. So every work order or every activity, anything here, it is not a representation of a work order, okay?
Okay.
It is not like it, but every task that you have here, it will correspond to a project, work order, and activity. Depending on how the company wants to make it, you will do it one way or the other, okay? For example, I don't know, as we were working, so I don't know, imagine that you want to say, okay, requirement gathering, work order 1, development, work order 2. Then you have to do the mapping, okay? You will do the mapping, whatever you have or whatever your company wants to do. And this is how you will define the budgeting, the forecasting, the timesheet, the expense, and so on. I guess that you are used to enter when you are registering time. Of course, I don't know the nomenclature that you are using when you register your timesheet. You will have to enter the engagement or something like this. Don't know how you call it, engagement, project, something like this. You will have to enter work order, work package. I don't know how you call it, okay? But it is basically this, okay? It is how you are going to consider the government structure. Quite typically, the systems today, when you enter time, you are not entering time at this level, you are entering time at this level. This is the typical situation today in software, okay? And this is what we have, okay? So we are going to do the budgeting here, okay? Our flexibility is something like this. So we will have a project, the project have work order, activities, or both. So we have what is called PSO model. The PSO model, which is a team, by the way, in charge of creating the best practices that our customers should follow so that they can benefit from our software. Okay? And our recommendation is that the customer will use work order and optionally activity, but work order for sure. Okay? Yes, so this is just a small introduction to what we have. One reminder, we don't have this, okay? So I don't want to tell you that the people, well, I don't know. Or customer usually, there are different ways how they do this. So they can do it in an Excel sheet, or they can integrate with third parties. So third parties like a Smartsheet or Jira, I think is the name. Yes, Jira. It is tools that are specialized there. Okay?
In Amalfia, we use Azure DevOps. I saw.
Yes.
To track, yeah.
Exactly. Azure DevOps, Unifor itself is using Azure DevOps. Okay? When you have this word breakdown structure, you have it, and then you will integrate somehow. Don't ask me how, but you will create with APIs and so on. You will integrate with ERP somehow. So that's what is happening today.
Okay.
Worst case, because this is in Amalthea that you are using this word breakdown structure. When you are talking about professional, when we are selling the software to a customer, we are using Azure DevOps. Okay? And then the integration here is happening partially via email. So that's not good. This is something we want to improve, but it will be in the future. Well,
okay.
Hopefully someone will try. Okay, but let's say that this is something interesting for you to know. So you have this. So then let's go to ERPX and see what happens. Okay. So here I'm going to put an example. So here it is a project that I have. I have created a project, very simple project, T1. The project type is an important component here. Okay, I will explain later why. Okay. Then you have that this is running in November and December. And as you can see, I'm using word order and activity. You can put here the customer, any other information. I have entered a couple of word orders and then a couple of activities. Then I have, we have people planner, which is the tool where you will be able to find people and book it. Okay. Then, for example, you can find people with different things. You can find people just one guy. The relation is like attributes of these people. For example, that they belong in Team 1, that they are working in Poland, they are working in Poland, I don't know, for example, Germany, and so on. Okay, so you can find people, you can manage people, but for simplicity here, or you can also put the competencies. Say this guy needs to know React, whatever the competence, or has to talk in this language and so on. So I don't want to enter into this complexity. Okay? Let's go. So this is I am going to use only one guy. My project is in November and October. So, okay, I have a task. As I mentioned before, we don't have project plan. We don't have the clear integration with this tool. So you have to do this integration somehow. And this is my guy. The yellow, it is vacations. Okay. Then I see that there are 2 days that this guy is working something called HR. I don't remember what I did, but he's already assigned. And then I say, hey, I have a task for this person. Okay. Something. I see that this is that. Okay, let's create a booking for this guy. That will work. Let me put here something very easy. So this guy will work 10 days, and then I will book it in my project. Okay, I will choose one project, one order, one activity. As I mentioned, you can put this data. Okay, and then you have it. Okay, easy. I mean, you have a resource plan. Let's go to the next step. Okay, how much this guy is costing? Okay, all right, here. Let's see how it is the costing engine in our side. As I mentioned before, okay, sorry, yes. No, sorry. I click in the wrong place because I didn't start here. I have my project, and as I mentioned before, this is external as well, important. I have my resource. My resource has 2 main costing attributes. One is the project, the resource type, and the other is the cost category. What is the relevance between the resource type? The resource type typically is employee or contractor.
Okay.
The cost is not the same, for sure. Okay, this is the typical situation that you have. And the cost category, I think, is quite obvious. So as you can see, the resource type, let me check if I think I did it. Okay, I didn't see, but the resource type is employee. Okay, sorry, I understand. Sorry, the video don't show the tooltip. It's interesting. I didn't know. So you know, so when I hover over, I have to see. So then the resource type then is employee, and cost category is junior consultant.
Okay.
So that's it. Okay, and then we have something which is called hourly cost, and this is the company that can define. You go to your project type. Remember, my resource type, which is employee, and your cost category.
It's junior consultant. Yeah.
So it's quite easy. So it is 50, and then you have two components. What are the components? What is resource cost? Basically, it is the cost. So this is one thing. When customers are doing this kind of exercise, they are not doing the exact code. Sorry, the exact cost. Okay, it is the average. What is costing on average as a junior consultant, more or less. Okay, more or less they will have a range, and they will have indirect cost. It is what I explained before. It is I don't know. You are in the office. How much I have to pay by the office, the light, the electricity, the water,
and other things. Yeah.
everything else. Okay, sorry. In our cases, the licenses, you know, so you have license to this tool, to this software, whatever. So a lot of money that has to be split between everything. Yeah? But at the end, here you have that a guy is 60 euros per hour. Okay, per hour. Okay, so then it is clear. I have from the previous screen, I have made the booking. I know what is clearly what is the costing. Okay. Let's go one more further. Then we go and make an explanation. We have the concept, and this is where I want to talk about the risks and so on. This is the element that you can enter when you are doing a budget. Okay.
Okay.
You can forget about this amount because basically the people enter what we call here total with volume, which is like hours. You enter hours, and this is calculated. Okay.
Okay.
You have your own employees. Okay. Then you have your subcontracting. I'm not going to enter into this. Well, let me enter into this complexity. This is when you have a guy who is not in your company. Well, it is in your company, but it is not in your. Let's say that your company has two hubs, one in Warsaw and one in Wrocław. Okay, then they will be two different legal entities. They will not be in the same legal entity. So this will be a internal subcontractor. Okay. So if you put the example between Wrocław and Warsaw on Krakow, there is not too much different. But if you put the example between Germany and Romania, there is a big difference.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you have a company which is international. You have consultant in Germany. You have consultant in Romania. If you have a project in Germany and you want to use people from Romania, it is a internal subcontractor. Of course, you have to be diligent. As we are mentioning, it is the cost. So if you have a contract in Romania and you have internal contractor from Germany, very difficult that this project will be profitable. Okay, so the typical scenario is the other way. So you sign contracts in an expensive country, and you will use people from cheap countries. I say cheap country, can be Poland, can be Spain, can be Portugal, Romania. So you know what happens. No? So we are not in the rich part of Europe. This is when we say internal or external resource. Okay, and it is different. As I mentioned before, it can be other costs. You can consider travel costs. My people will have to travel. I will book, I don't know what you sign in the contract, maybe you sign that the customer will pay 5,000 euros by this cost, and you have the people to travel and so on. Of course, the same, as I have mentioned to you about cost, you will have about revenue. I have a guy, junior consultant, this is cost 60 euros, but my revenue will be 100 euros. This is what I'm going to pay you, okay? So this is what I want to get this revenue. So you can have several elements when doing the budgeting in the system, okay? And finally, the project
risk.
Exactly. So let's see the example here for this particular project, okay? We are in this project. I have this plan, resource plan, very easy. I have sorry. Here, the first booking is for another project. You can see. The other booking is for my project, team one. Clear. Then I go to the tools to enter my budget tools. So this is just for, there is nothing else, just this assignment. Then I go to my tool. This is my project. I go to my planner. I go to baseline, and then enter the manual. So I have to do it manually, as you can see. Then I add it. I know that I have 60 hours of own employees. Good. Then you add it. Then one question here, just for you to understand what is the problem. Do you remember the word order? Probably not. Myself, no. Then you have to go to the tool of resource plan,
and
find the task and copy. So everything is quite managed. Okay, you can understand. This is the main pain point we want to fix here. The same happens for the cost category. Then I have to go to the resource, see who is working, and find the cost category. Look at when you enter the cost category. One moment here. You see that here is my price, 60 euros. Okay, this is automatic, but everything else is manual. Okay, then I enter my hours. You have to remember the number of hours you enter in the other tool. It was, I go here, I didn't remember, so you have to come here. No, sorry, I click to restart. Let's go there. I didn't click in the right button. You have to remember the number of lines. If you don't remember, go there, open. Okay, it is set the hours, right? Then I will populate. Okay, you understand? There are more things. There are more things. You can see that I enter 80 hours, and then automatically this tool has split the hours between the 2 months evenly. This is not what is happening. All the hours is in November, okay? Then I have to change as well. So this is just one example with only one task.
Okay.
Basically, this is nothing. This is not happening. Never happened.
Yeah.
But never happening. Quite weird that you have a project as simple as this one. Okay. So if the project is as simple as this one, maybe okay, you have to spend a little bit time doing this. If the project is a normal one where you have 50 tasks, then you have to repeat this task for the 50 times, which is quite cumbersome. Then, as I mentioned before, every month you have to provide this. Then it is a pain for you to know. And even more, at the end of the month, you don't know how it is your project going on. If you have everything automatic because you have the people, then every day you can know if your project is deviating or not. And you can provide real data or live data almost, okay? This is the main scope of our of the project.
Okay.
And I hope that this is good for now. Yeah, because the next one I will take tomorrow. Okay? This is the main idea, and then you're gonna stop recording.
Okay.
And then let's do a test of your account.
Okay, stop.